special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
All right, Johnson County, we are here on January 31st. Man, this month has just flown by. We're already 31 days into the year. It's 6:04 on this beautiful day, isn't it, Shelly?
It is like gorgeous. Hello,
70,
JoCo.
78, I think, at one point in time, or 69 or something. I don't know.
75.
75.
We'll
Man, it was more. Call it right in the middle, right?
Yep.
As always, I've got my awesome co-host fill in at the last minute. I always can count on you to come up here and be a nut with me. Two crazy people in a room together. Shelly Renfro. Say hey, Shelly.
Hey, good evening, Johnson County.
What's the joke, though?
Crazy where Renfro and Wilshire intersect. Here we go.
That's right.
It's the worst intersection in Burleson.
And we are
it's the best intersection in Burleson.
And
what
we
do you
are
know?
the two crazies that are at that intersection in a room together. All right. I started off doing this show and I had to do it because the Johnson County Sheriff's Department post the crimes that have occurred over the weekend. I bumped the microphone. That was what that tone was. That wasn't like sound effects that I have. That was an actual
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, the spring on the microphone. I need to, cue some sound effects on that, right? But JoCo did not disappoint this week. I can't believe that we get this comedy. And, for the bad, I'm going to skip all the bad because, obviously there is some heartaches that happen here, and I don't want to go over that stuff. But I got to
Yeah, we
tell
don't actually
you,
want to pick on people when they're really down and out.
yeah, we don't want to pick on you when you're down and out. But hey,
But if you're just being an idiot, you are fodder for the show.
okay, Mail turned himself in to Burleson PD for warrant, tamper, fabricate physical evidence. So he tampered with physical evidence or fabricated physical evidence with intent to impair. Deputy responded and booked subject in. Deputy cleared with an arrest.
To impair the evidence or to impair himself?
I don't know, but I don't know. And it was tampering with evidence or physically, tampering or fabricating or doing something. But the funny part about it is that, somewhere there's a cop that's just solving crime everywhere he goes, right? He just showed up to work, clocked in, and was like, "Hey, could you come to the front? We got a guy that wants to talk to you. Bad boys, bad boys.
What you gonna do?"
He's just like walking up there. I got my first arrest and I just got here, right? Male called saying his wife cut him and he was bleeding out. Female was not on scene when deputies arrived. Medical made scene, tended to the male subject's wounds. Female was located next door at her mother's house. Crime scene responded with a detective. Male remained at home. All units cleared with a report. Okay, so obviously he wasn't bleeding out if he remained at home.
Apparently not. Drama much?
And
well, it depends on where she cut him, though, because sometimes some wounds bleed really bad, and you might think you're dying, but you're not.
We know that y'all are capable of cutting us. Y'all have shows called Wives with Knives. Who the Bleak Did I Marry? Snapped. You know you love some Snap.
Hey, some girls got those fingernails that they don't even need a weapon. They have them built into their hands.
Right? You think that was what it was? She's like, Wolverine or something.
Exactly.
And I want to know the backstory. Like, what was the fight that led up? Have you ever been so mad you wanted to cut somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. My last relationship, I just kind of walked in one day and said, you've just really done it this time. Slice.
And there he was.
There he went. Yep.
They had to call Dexter to come to the crime scene and solve who did it. But I was sitting there with the knife in my hand.
That's right.
Okay, so we're not going over this one. Hearts go out to the grandfather that was non-responsive and passed away. That's very sad.
Sorry.
We're sorry to hear the loss.
Grandparents are special people. If you haven't spent time with your grandparents lately, go spend time with your grandparents.
Okay, so this is one of those things that is just like nightmare fueled. Female caller found her brother in his car with blood all over him. Deputies responded to the call with medical. Male was transported by ambulance to the hospital. Sergeant responded to the call with a detective in the crime scene. Male was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Units cleared with a report. Oh my God. This is like right here.
That sounds like maybe.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's not good.
We don't know what happened, but you're just like, what the heck?
I think that might be a sad one.
Yeah, that's a nightmare fueled thing, right? Received a call from 911 from a hysterical female that was yelling at a male and was not answering any of the call taker's questions. And the female disconnected and was not answering on the call back. A few minutes later, dispatch received a 911 call stating there was a male assaulting people at the neighbor's house, and he took off just walking. Deputies responded. Deputies stopped out with the male down the street from the residence, detained him. Deputy requested medical to make the scene for multiple assault victims. And Deputy Parson placed the male in custody and transported him to corrections.
Multiple assault victims. All right. He was on a roll.
Not only was he mad at his wife or his woman, he had to go assault the neighbors. That'd be bad. And the neighbor shows up, knocks on the door. Hey, I'm so mad at my wife.
Yeah, it's your turn
me
too.
In the face. What the heck, man? Caller stated someone hacked her phone. Here we go. Cleburne Animal Control was out with a pig and was requesting a deputy arrest the pig.
Oink oink.
Deputy placed the pig into custody and transported it to Johnson County Sheriff's Office. Deputy cleared with a report. Okay.
So they must, because they talk about this frequently, I guess they must have a facility where they hold stray livestock, because we've seen goats, we've seen cows, we've seen pigs.
Do you think they're all talking to each other in there? Like, what you in for, man?
Absolutely.
Do they hold them up and take a photo of them and put inmate number
exactly
43719? That'd be cool. And make the pig turn sideways,
Exactly.
they have to hold somewhere. There's a trustee at the jail, some guy who just drew the short straw, and one of the inmates trying to get out early, and he's like the guy that has to hold the pig whenever they take the photo. Get in here, you have to hold the goat this time, and this one's a feisty one.
Yeah, exactly.
He's mad at everyone. Okay, so we're gonna skip this one. Hold on, there's another one in here that was just awesome. Caller advised her ex-boyfriend had been calling her from a block number and showed up at her house. Deputy responded and cleared with a report. Okay. Ex-boyfriend calling. Hey, 1979 called. They want their story back. That's every girl my brother broke up with. Oh,
right?
Man, that
Stalkers.
girl called. They called all the time. Caller advised her neighbor just come over and said okay, here we go. This is Johnson County at its finest. And I want the story on this one. Caller advised her neighbor just came over and said his wife just pepper sprayed him and he needs help. Deputy responded and requested EMS to make the scene to check on the male. Male was taken to the hospital and deputy cleared with a report. Okay.
Well, at least she didn't cut him and he wasn't bleeding out. I mean,
there's got to be a story. And
well,
if I called you up and said, hey, my woman just, sprayed me with pepper spray, you would be like, okay, Mike, come
What'd
on
you do?
now. There's a story.
Mm-hmm.
You did were you poking her? Were you, were you doing that where you're like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you and had your finger. Were you annoying her? Like, what were you doing that led up to you getting squirted with pepper spray?
Because nobody just randomly, let's see. Oh,
Today's the day,
Exactly.
Today's the day. My cheese slipped off my cracker and I'm spraying you with pepper spray before the day's over.
Season it with pepper spray.
Right. Okay, so fraudulent charges. We get these all the time. Where
there's been a lot of fraud. And the other one, I know someone in my family just got, and they almost got them, but where they get the text or the email and it's like, your information has been found on the dark web and it's got like the last few numbers of your account number. So it looks real. And
they just bought it like just for a split second.
Yeah, they're like, oh
no.
Well, my family member was smart and they called their credit union or their bank. It was like, hey, I got this email. What is this all about? And then they were saying they saw on the news later on that it was there was
very common,
and it was going around exactly from their bank, et cetera, et cetera. And the guy on the news had made the mistake of contacting the number in the text or email, which of course you never want to do. You always want to contact your bank.
True story happened to me today. My bank changed their mobile app today. Right before payday, I'm a retired veteran, work for the state. You get paid on the 1st, right? So right before payday, and I went to the mobile app.
Like, oh, geez, we don't have the same bank, do we?
No. It redirected me to another mobile app, and I'm like, oh, this is fraud. So of course I call my bank, and again, the day before payday, federal, I call them. And it rings forever. And finally someone comes on the phone and I'm like, okay, did y'all change the mobile app? She's like, yeah. And you do have to re-register, and it's asking you all that pertinent information
that you don't want to just give away. Exactly.
And so I had to go and re-register, and obviously everything worked out okay, but it was like I was on that phone.
Hey, a heads up would have been nice, bank. Y'all can send an email about every sale or special or loan y'all want me to take out. How about an email with a heads up saying we're going to change our
that you're going to change your app? And so I get it.
Oh, yeah.
So and I'm on that phone for like 20 minutes, like waiting with the most horrible, not even elevator music, not music. It rings 4 times and the lady repeats the message. We'll get to you in the order your call was received. And it's just like this long, drawn out. And you're like, I'm going to bang my head against the wall.
I like the ones where they're offering a product and they're like, to hear more about our special load, we'll be right with you shortly. Please continue to hold. It's like, well, I was trying to learn more about what y'all were advertising.
Special, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the other one is how big is a Pyrenees? Is it a big
they're kind of big. Yeah, they're big. They're the big white, fluffy ones that look like
Pyrenees
teddy bears.
running loose and is very aggressive in the neighborhood. I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. Okay, now that was just the 29th. Now when we go into the 30th, they get really comical. And I mean, these are, I don't know which order to read them in, but I mean, they're just hilarious. Okay. Deputies responded to FM 3136 in reference to a female stating a family member was there destroying things and cussing people out, or as I call Tuesday.
I was going to say, that's just Sunday dinner, man.
Right. Isn't that a normal, like, were the Cowboys playing? I mean,
right.
what happened? I mean, like, what set him off? I mean, was WWE a rerun? I mean, like, what happened, in Johnson County that got us going crazy, right? Deputy responded County Road 608 in reference to a female stating she hit a fence and already called the tow company. So she hit the fence, called and told on herself.
Well, that was nice of her.
I mean, it was like well, first of all, like, what were you doing? Were you texting? Like, I mean, come on. Like, what were you doing that you hit them? Because my cousin hit a little like tree, like it was a sapling, like 6 feet tall, maybe 2 inches around or an inch and a half around. And she was driving down the road in like 1985 with a good time radio, like a boombox in the car because the radio was messed
absolutely.
up.
Yep.
So she had this battery operated radio that
We
she
all had
was
that car.
tuning in and not paying attention and ran in these people's yard
Oops.
in this tree. And so I went back to that neighborhood that's 35 years ago, 40 years ago. And I went through that neighborhood and I saw that tree, and it is so big you and I couldn't
That's
put
awesome.
our arms around it. Like,
it survived.
she hit that tree and all they did was tape it back up and post it, with the strings and all that stuff, and 3 different sides, and that tree is huge. You couldn't climb it now if you tried to. It's so big.
That's awesome.
And I always mess with her about that. You'd not believe the size of that doggone tree. Female stain, she found another person's ID in her roommate's room.
Like, why were you going through your roommate's stuff? Let's
Right.
start there.
And I mean, like, do you think it was like, was she like a serial killer and that's the memento she took from it? I mean,
Yeah,
just
she
the
must not
beginning-
be a very good roommate if you're going to call the law on her.
Right.
I
And
mean,
just for a random ID.
Just saying.
How do you know the guy just didn't accidentally leave it there whenever he was leaving? I mean, like, he wanted her to call him and that was his reason to come back, Come over, I have your ID. Oh, kissy kissy. I mean, like, one thing leads to another, right? Respondent Red Oak in reference to a male dog who was bit, or a male who was bit by the dog at the store.
There's a lot of loose dogs on Red Oak, is there
mean,
not? It seems to be. I mean, I'm
I
not
want
sure
to
where
start
that
carrying
is,
a
but
stick with me.
no
I just
kidding.
think if you saw somebody with an axe handle, you shouldn't jump to assumptions. They've probably been bit by a stray dog. They're probably not there to, clean up or take the law in their own hands. They probably just don't want to get Fido biting them on the back of the leg again.
Exactly.
I see people walking with sticks all the time in my neighborhood. And I thought that was weird till I saw a guy running from a dog one time. And I was like, oh, that's what the stick's
That's what
for.
the stick is for.
All right,
Okay.
I get it now. I
Makes
get
sense.
it. Deputy responded to 920 in reference to a female stating she needed that's boring. Deputy responded to Montana Street in reference to a female stating someone stole her American Airlines miles. Let me tell you something. That's a crime.
Let me tell you.
You earned those miles.
Every one of them.
Single one of them, right? You got on that plane, you flew, and those seats are made for you. They're made for a little person.
Oh yeah, the skies are no longer friendly. So
right. I sit in a seat. It looks like a blood clot. I mean, it looks like somebody trying to, somebody like they sat a little Bill Bixby into it, and he had changed into the Incredible Hulk while they went to get him some water.
Like one of those shrinky dinks that you used to put in the bathtub, and
right?
and
it grows.
And it goes,
yeah, that's what they did. They stuck me in there. And
That's not what happened. I wondered.
Somebody poured me water on me, and I grew to this size, and I'm stuck in that chair going, can you give me one of those seatbelt extensions, please? Size 46 waist, but I need a seatbelt extension.
I know we
That's
weren't supposed
ridiculous.
to feed gremlins after midnight. If we're not supposed to feed you after midnight
I guess.
either? Okay.
I don't know, or else I turn into this, right?
Hey.
Okay. So this is not funny, but it's kind of one of those things where,
Great, I'm gonna laugh.
well, I know the principal at Joshua ISD called in reference to a student had a brother that hadn't come to school, so they had notified CPS. She stated there were several stories going around about the kid in Mexico or Colorado, but wasn't enrolled in school. Deputies and CID respond. Okay, the rumor mill, right? We're calling the cops
because of rumors.
Man, you can't tell me that
but
rumors don't run rampant.
Yeah, but
Well,
okay.
kid's
In
not
their
there,
defense, though, teachers and school professionals are mandatory reporters, so their
Yeah,
hands
they
are
have
really
to do
kind
it.
of tied.
Yeah, and they
Can't
have
beat
to
them up too
report it.
much, but
And
yeah.
the police have to make a report, and you just have to have the report for record.
Well, so did they find the kid?
I don't know.
Does
It
he
doesn't say
exist?
anything. It doesn't.
Hmm.
I don't even know if this kid's real. I mean, I don't know what it says. All right, here's the one that is just Johnson County.
Is this the one you've been
I
waiting
love you.
for?
This
Can we
is
get
the
a
one I've been
drum
waiting
roll?
for. In reference to a male stating that an ex-employee made some threats and stated that she was part of the cartel and could kill people. Caller advised this male has his vehicle. Okay, so much to unpack there. But I think the first rule of the cartel is you can't tell people you're part of the cartel.
Yeah, it's kind of like the mafia. You're
Right. You're not
undercover.
allowed to talk about Fight Club. You're not allowed to talk about the cartel. Right. You can't. I mean, you just can't.
Yeah.
You can't mention it. Right. You
I-
just. I think. I don't. I would be scared of somebody that was really, really quiet. But the person that's standing there talking and saying, do you know who I am?
Loose lips sink ships.
Right? Beyond all beliefs. Do you know who I am? You're not a part of anything. You can't keep a secret. All right. Spice Rack. Hey, we got a Spice Rack has free bingo, and I think it's on either Monday or Tuesday. Don't quote me on that. Call them, find out from 7 to 9. I've actually played bingo there, and I think it was on a Tuesday.
All right.
But I've actually played bingo there one night, and it was kind of fun. They just hand you some cards, and you call it out. And I think I won like some tacos or something.
Oh, there you go. Can't beat free tacos.
Free tacos, man. That's how you get us into the van, right? That's
Right. Absolutely.
Right up with a sign that says free tacos. I've really let myself go. My mom used to tell me not to stand out close to that curb because a rape van would get you in them little shorts. Man, I stand out by the curb all the time in my shorts and no rape van picks me up.
Well,
I've just let myself go.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if that was your goal,
Right.
Aim higher. I don't know.
Brady McCool is going to be playing Thursday, February 1st at the Spice Rack.
That'd be tomorrow.
And they say it's time for the best fried chicken sandwich in the world. They didn't say in the world, but it said around.
I do like some fried chicken.
Who wouldn't? This is Texas, man. Do you know why we don't have Bigfoot here?
Because if we he's afraid we'd fry him.
That's right. If we did, we'd have chicken fried Bigfoot.
Fried squatch.
It'd be fried Sasquatch. Yeah. We would be eating him. We'd be like, that would be the most delicious thing ever, right?
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And I get to pick on Jacob Marshall, my friend, comedian. Jacob Marshall. I'm not picking on him. I'm promoting what he's got going on. Jacob is a very talented comedian. I like him. He makes me laugh. And he's got this comedy showcase going on. I'm sorry, I'm trying to type at the same time, and nothing's working for me today.
It's a conspiracy.
Right. He's got the comedy kickback at the stand-up comedy showcase at Big Laugh Comedy Club, which is the new one there in Fort Worth.
Oh, fun! And where's that located?
604 Main Street.
Okay, so
downtown. And it's Thursday, February 1st at 8 p.m. And the tickets are $20, guys. If you want a laugh,
hey, you get what you pay for. So
you get what you pay for. And these guys are pretty funny. They're not, these are the guys that you're going to see in Reels and Vines and stuff like that. What are they called now? Reels. It used to be Vines, but TikTok. And
hey, I saw Jeff Foxworthy at a little local club before he got famous.
It was awesome.
Yes. And I think it was like early 90s. And saw him doing redneck jokes before he was famous for doing redneck jokes.
Right. So, long time ago. Right.
Yeah. Well, because like he started doing them, and I looked at my mom and I was like, hey, isn't that guy we saw? And sure enough, it was. I was like, holy cow.
That's awesome. I mean, and these guys run around doing like open mics at like Mad Hatter in downtown. And, there's not really any open mics down here in Burleson.
We should rectify that.
I don't know, man. These places are, there's darts going on. And if you're a bar and you want to have a comedy open mic.
And you want to have comedy or singing or whatever.
Yeah. Reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out.
Reach out to the JoCo Voice, reach out to Mike Wilshire, and we will hook you up with one of these comedians that's pretty funny and runs these shows. And I mean, there's local guys, Troy Yanks is from around here, and he could probably help people out with doing something like that.
Even like an open mic night would be fun. I mean, there's some amateur people around here who are actually pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. And it's nothing better than when you got that friend that thinks they're just absolutely hilarious. And you're like, okay, get up there and make us laugh, funny boy.
And they get up there and there's like,
they're laughing and they can't.
Yeah, they're like, ha, 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 ha,
yeah.
And then we're all sitting there like, drink, please.
Well, you've been in those open mics. You've heard us choke. You've heard comedians get up
yes,
there.
Yes, I have.
But you're good to take to an open mic because you do laugh.
I have that obnoxious belly laugh that could clear a room.
And dark humor, man. Sometimes, you and I go dark and we're laughing about something we probably shouldn't. So I have to warn people in advance that some of these comedy shows you go to, they're going to talk about politics. They're going to talk about stuff that I'm just not going to be familiar with. And if you don't laugh, don't laugh. If you don't find it funny, don't laugh, a nervous laugh. Even if you don't find it funny, don't laugh. It's just the way it goes.
I mean, I've got a lot of really good, funny stories that happen because I'm a blind woman, and boy, have I got some stories, because it's not all sad and pitiful. Most of it's actually pretty comical if you look at it that way. And but I've kind of been afraid to get up there and do that, because that reaction that you get from people, the
Well, I mean, like you and
can't
I, if there
say
was a
that.
transcript of things that we talked about, because I mean, we've been for years,
We've been
but
friends for a good
for
long while.
years, and people don't realize that I can say something to you that is absolutely hilarious to you and I, but I would never.
Unfortunately, it's not funny to anybody else.
Right. Well, remember the stick? Remember when you were holding your
Oh, yes,
and that
yes.
lady was standing outside the gas
That's
station?
not a mobility cane, it's a dumbass
Yeah,
wand.
and I was like, what do you need the stick for? I'm walking you in. And you were like, because it's so I could hit dumbasses. It's the dumbass one. And
No,
that
I
lady
said it's
just,
in case I'm walking with some dumbass who's gonna
oh
run
my
me into
God, that
something.
lady
And
laughed
that lady, it was poor
so.
little old lady. Oh my God.
Yeah, she worked inside there and it was late. And she just like belly laughed. She like bent over
It was awesome.
at the stomach, was like, apparently blind people aren't supposed to be funny. You know, I mean, like, I don't know. It was a good joke, though. It was a really good line
Well,
at the
what's
right
sad
time.
is I wasn't even trying to be funny. That's just the
No,
truth.
it was just something that came out, right? Most comedy is that way, though. It's something that just pops out your mouth and you don't realize how funny it is until it's said, right? And and that was hilarious. That was a good night.
I don't
But
know. Usually what happens to me is it's like really funny in my head, and then I say it, and then it's like,
no, but
oh,
there's
that
stuff
wasn't
that
even
like
very funny, was
probably
it?
there's stuff that we talked about, like reaching for the door handle. When you're talking about reaching for the door handle at like a Walgreens or a grocery store or something, and you grab the guy.
Oh, I was talking to my son the other day, and I was like, "Hey, there's a reason why when I walk with my hand out with the back facing out, because I'm short."
And that's where
And
someone's crotch is. And you're like,
exactly.
if I touch you in the back of my hand, I wasn't
It's
aiming
not
for
nearly
it.
as
Right?
awkward. It's
Right?
still
I'm
awkward,
going to
but
reach, you know. We got to teach the dog to like sit when the crotch gets too close to you or
yeah,
something. You know, like she stops when a curve, you know, you've got the
yeah,
dog.
she stops for a
The
curve.
guide dog stops for the curve. She can find elevators. You tell her elevator and she goes and finds it.
I've got a funny story about that though.
Oh,
So,
what?
well, my dear ex-husband, bless his heart, and I can say that because we're still friends, but his guide dog, one day we had gone into a building, we were at work for something, and his dog like did something, and we always praise our dogs like after they do something good. And
Mhm.
so for whatever reason he was just really going nuts. Good boy, good boy, good
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
And we got out of this elevator, and the guy we were with pulls him aside and goes, "David," oops, I didn't mean to drop his name, sorry dude.
Yeah, no,
Anyway, said
it's fine. Nobody
your
knows.
your dog had his nose under this lady's skirt, and you're
Oh.
sitting there the whole time going, "Good boy, good boy."
Well, the dog didn't need much reward, but like
Exactly. He was just like, "Oh, well, that
this
was
lady
awkward."
didn't stop and just
No,
go, you know.
she
Like,
didn't say a word.
see, that's if I would have been in that elevator, I would have said, you know, hey, dude, the dog's got his nose under the lady's dress. You know, I mean, like but I know y'all, so I know what I can say and what would probably be saving us from total embarrassment, but absolute
We're getting
hilarity
clocked by
at
her
the same.
boyfriend as we walk out, you know?
Oh my God. The boyfriend was just like, oh my God, that poor dog. All right, so we need to go over my calendar and what's coming up.
Yeah, because you've got some exciting stuff coming up. You've got some big names coming up.
Big names.
Woo!
Oh, they're big Johnson
Big
County
in Johnson
names,
County?
right? That's
That
right, and that's
works.
big for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's our whole purpose. So
all right, so Amber Fireball Friesen is coming on here. She's a musician, songwriter. She is awesome. I've heard some of her stuff. Been talking back and forth with her and trying to not sound like I'm mansplaining stuff, but it was so cute because she's like, I've been married 30 years. I know what you're saying. I got it. I understand. I was like, I'm sorry, but you know, you feel bad, but at the same token, you're kind of like trying to make sure you straighten everything out with the show because it was rough. And Colonel Crabb, we got Vince Crabb, who is running, former Army full bird colonel,
cool.
running for U.S. District Representative for Congress or whatever. They're representatives, right? They're not a senator. He's a representative.
Yeah, representative. So he's Congress. That's
25th
a House of
District,
Representatives.
House of Representatives, and he is running in the primaries against two others. The Roger Williams, I believe, is in the incumbent, and there's another guy that's running. I haven't reached out to him yet, but Vince's people reached out to me, so I've got them.
Awesome.
He was supposed to be with me on Monday, but he ended up having a family emergency with his grandson in Houston.
Oh.
And he had to drive to Houston. So prayers with the
Yeah, I
family.
hope that worked out.
I hope everything's okay. If they take a kid straight from school to the hospital, that's
Ooh,
when you get really,
that's
really
when
worried.
Grandpa drives down.
Yeah, that's when Grandpa drives down. And then the 12th's wide open. I can have anybody on I want. If anybody's interested, reach out to me. Send me a direct message. Mike Wilshire, the JoCo voice.
Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with me again. So somebody please reach out to this man.
I know, right? Or I could reach out. I could always, my go-tos are you and Keith from Custom Sheds by Keith. And Keith, you know, he could read the phone book and make it interesting with his voice. So I don't know. We'll probably just talk about stupid movies or something, you know, because I can't get anybody else to show up on that day. And then the 14th, His Honor, Mayor Chris Fletcher is going to be on the show with us on Valentine's Day, and we'll be discussing upcoming elections. Oh, we got to go to commercial. All right, we'll be right back.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
All right, we're back, Johnson County. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out our lineup and more at JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. I always loved whenever hail was in the air and we could say it.
You could say it as a little kid. Oh, hail. It's going to hail.
Mom, there's hail coming from the sky. There's hail, you know. And I can remember like whenever the preacher would talk about the Bible and he would say like a harlot or something, you know, that like the words. And I would like mess with whoever the old person was beside me in church and go, hey, what's a harlot?
You would,
you know, just to totally like
see if you can make little old ladies.
See what they would
do you
say.
like making little old ladies turn red?
A very dirty woman. Oh, like that lady on the street that we see with the bag lady.
Oh, God.
No, another type of dirty woman. You know, it just random stuff that you did as a kid, you know. And I remember my dad just probably, it was to this limit with us. Like, boy, God don't think stuff's funny. You know, I mean, like your father's so fed up with you being such a bad kid that he's done. He's like, I am so done with you. Okay. Every police department in America is hiring. I mean, guys, if you're looking for a job with the police department, Johnson County's hiring, Burleson's hiring. I'm fairly certain. I mean, they just hired on. JoCo just hired on. Oh, welcome, Deputy Dustin Hatley. Dustin
welcome.
Hatley just took the oath with Johnson County, and they have him in a very nice picture posing with his wife and daughters.
Cool.
And it's a family affair, I guess, when you swear in. That's pretty awesome,
That
right?
is cool. May you have a long, successful career with JoCo, and may I never meet you in your professional capacity.
Right. The one I'm worried about is the dog. What's his name?
Sonic, Canine Sonic out of Burleson.
Man, he would make me confess to crimes.
I was on the grassy knoll. Okay,
Like,
it was me.
He just looks at you and like just growls, just like lifts his lip up like Elvis a little, you know, and shows you that tooth, and you're like, I gave up, I give up, I did it.
It was me. It was all me.
Here's the dope, here's the evidence, sir. You don't have any dope on you. No, but I got, you know,
ma'am, that's salt. Hey, look, the dog wanted something, okay?
I got pocket sand, like
Yeah,
Dale
right.
grew. I got pocket sand. That's an illegal weapon, I confess, you know. I'm sure he's probably a real sweet dog, but I just never want to meet him. I
don't know. I wonder if he's like my guide dog, where when he's in his uniform, his vest, it's work time, and you know there's no sweetness about him. But you take him out of his vest, and he's off duty and just a normal dog.
Your dog is a superhero.
Well,
I
yeah,
think your
she
dog
is.
thinks she's a superhero.
She is.
Like whenever she's got the vest on, that's when she's fighting crime and saving the world and protecting you from all the bad. And then whenever she doesn't have the vest on, that's when she's like, I could get that bean burrito.
She's in the backyard eating her own poop.
Right. She's like, I see that bean burrito up there on the table, and I know I can jump up there and get it if I try real hard.
Yeah.
She's aware of it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I got to send another shout out. Let me find this real quick, because I got this message. And so I reached out originally. I reached out to the mother of these amazing boys who have their own bakery. They started baking stuff, and these kids they're super cool. And so they have what's called a pop-up where that's the Home Run Bakery in Burleson. And it's going to be the Home Run Bakery pop-up. And I got to get it big because I don't have my readers with me, right? Come support Nathan and Dominic's entrepreneur adventure. Wednesday, February 3rd, 2024 from 11:30 to 2 p.m. I've got to make sure I go over. I'm going to try my hardest.
Wednesday the 3rd?
Oh, when? I'm sorry, not when.
Yeah, Wednesday's not the 3rd. It'd be Monday.
February 3rd is what?
Saturday, February 3rd.
Okay,
so this Saturday. So while you're out doing your Saturday shopping, you get a little hungry.
Go to Serendipity.
There you go.
Go to 110 South Main Street, Burleson, Texas. And you can reach them at Home Run Bakery BTX at gmail.com. And this is Nathan and Dominic. And I asked her whenever I originally reached out to her, I was like, do you think the boys would come on the air and talk about it? I mean, like, I don't know if it would be a total, just a goat rodeo of just having two boys in here and they just turn into deers in the headlights, or whatever. But mom could plug everything and answer the questions that are hard.
Yeah. So what are these young boys?
Yeah, they're young. There's pictures of them.
That's adorable.
I mean, they look little, but I mean, you can see them. They got the mixer. I think mom's right there close by. Taking a photo.
Right.
One's got the mixer, the other's got the spoon, and they look little, but they're out there
doing
their thing.
Awesome. I love that. And I want some cookies.
Right. Can't go wrong, right? They were made with love, right?
There you go.
So the boys got their pop-up, and hope anyone and everyone can get out to see it. So now let's talk about your backyard. You're looking for a she shed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That is your fantasy. You've mentioned a she shed.
Yes, I want a place to store all my stuff and just a little tiny house. And
right.
Yeah.
When the day comes, we're going to reach out to Keith at Custom Sheds by Keith, and we're going to see what we can do. But I still you want it like a Hobbit house. You want
yes.
Everything like your size.
Yes, I would like my feet to reach the floor when I sit in a chair. If it's all the same to everyone else.
How tall? You're 5 foot.
5 feet.
5 foot right at it. Yeah. So I mean, everything is tall to you.
Yes,
right?
everything is tall.
The mailbox is tall.
Yes, exactly.
You walk out to the mailbox and you're like, mailbox, you're the only thing I see eye to eye in this world.
My new house, I just moved into a new house and it's got like high countertops in the bathrooms. And so I'm like
Right.
brushing my teeth like this.
Right. You need a stool.
Exactly. Yes, I
Like,
do.
I need a little hump. Need something I can stand on whenever I go and do this, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I can barely reach the second shelf on any of my cabinets in the kitchen. It's awesome.
I know, right? I know. And you got a huge island. That island is to die for.
It really kind of is.
I think every house I ever build or live in for the rest of my life is going to have an island like that, because the whole
mother
world,
load.
the whole world, carouses around an island.
It's literally like 5 feet by 6 feet, if not more. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Lord.
It's like 6 by 6. It's huge.
Bed. That's a queen size bed. You know what I mean? Like really big. That's huge. I mean, but that's awesome. So,
but yeah, the good thing about Custom Sheds by Keith too is, so for example, I live in an HOA neighborhood, so my shed is going to have to meet all sorts. It's going to have to be an adorable she shed. It's going to have to match the house. It's going to have to look all custom-y and cute and not.
And yours will be seen from the road, because the back side of your house, I think, is like an opening into a cul-de-sac. It's the back side of it. So, I mean, some of it will be covered, but so you really have to have the real custom job, and he does all that permits and goes through all.
That's what I really like that about him, is because I didn't realize you do have to have a permit, and City of Burleson is very heavy. They like permits. I was looking for something else on their website, and I was looking at all the things you had to have a permit. Oh, I was getting the permit for my security system, and I was like, God, you got to have a permit to scratch your nose.
Well, anytime I want someone to come on the show, or someone reaches out to me and says, hey, this business would be good to talk to, I call the main number. And whenever I called Keith's number, Shannon answered the phone. That's his assistant, the guy that is his super, I don't know what you call him, office dude or whatever, head office guy.
Head office dude.
Yeah, I don't know what the title is. I'm sorry, Shannon, if I'm butchering it. But,
no, Shannon, you are now head office dude.
We'll
get that on a nameplate for you.
It should be on a business card.
Kind of like that.
So he actually answers a phone. And so I was talking to a welder. Somebody was telling me, hey, why don't you put a welder on your show that talks about welding buildings?
That would be cool.
Fences and fence posts and stuff like that for people, what I would need, how I'd invest in it, how I'd pay for it, can he do it in certain increments and stuff. And so I looked on Burleson, Texas for a welder that does custom stuff like that. And the first number that popped up, or one of the numbers that popped up, I called, and it was an automated service. And I'm not doing it, Second number I called, the guy answered, and it's the owner.
Oh, there you go.
And
Yeah.
I was talking to him, so I'm going to get him to come on the show. I've got to send him an email.
Oh, that'll be great.
Send him some particulars and stuff. But that's my big deal, is when you're dealing with these businesses, you call Spice Rack, you get the bartender at Spice Rack.
Right, exactly.
You call, what's the brewery, you get the bartender.
Well, I was so excited. I go to Inspire Hair Salon right over here, and I needed a last minute appointment today, and bless their heart, they fit me in. I couldn't believe it. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great girls over there. Y'all should go see them.
Whenever I go to my land, I go to Chow, right? It's the guy's name is Chow, that cuts hair down there in my little, I'm not telling y'all where my little hideout, my bug out shed is, but Chow cuts my hair. You can go find Chow online, and maybe you can find me, but he's the one that cuts my hair and does a great job. But whenever I'm here, I go get pampered. I go to the men's garage.
Oh, wow.
They got beer in there.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold up. Can I go to, I want to go to the men's garage. I want to drink a beer and get a haircut.
Girls ain't going to cut your girly hair.
I want a hot towel on my neck. Shoot.
Why do y'all have to take everything from us? First football, now this, No, you can't have the men's garage. You can't go to the garage and get your hair done. That's our place, And
I go get my mustache waxed.
And Hannah Gilly will go in there, get your mustache waxed. I'm gonna go in there and get a shave, get my taxes done. You're going all manly, huh? You're like, I'm just letting it go. I'm going Cro-Magnon, No, Hannah Gilly is the one who does my haircut, and she left and went and managed in Weatherford.
Oh, I hate it when your person leaves.
Right?
That is so not cool.
So I had to use another girl in there, and then one day she was back, and I felt like I'd been cheating on her. Like I was like, I'm very monogamous with who does my hair. You left me. You
You're
left.
right.
Like I'm thinking of all the things that I, someone would say to me if I broke up with them and then saw them again later. You walked out on me, Hannah. I didn't walk out on you.
Right. You left me hanging.
And women, y'all are very monogamous with who does y'all's hair.
Oh,
Like if you get the great
absolutely.
person,
Yes.
I know women who they will follow a woman pretty much across Dallas. They would go to the other side of Dallas for the right girl
Yeah.
who does their hair and follow her everywhere she goes. And I know that Keith is no, not Keith. My other friend, Eric, is working on not a she shed, but a salon that's at this people's property. So the wife is building a salon
Oh, cool.
by her house. She's got
Okay.
the property for it. And
Right.
rather than pay $250 a week for a chair
Exactly.
in a salon, she's going to have her own salon there and people come to her. And I'm like, see, that's a great thing. I mean, that's
pretty
when you
cool.
really want her to have a she shed. If that she shed's bringing in cash, I will build you the she shed. Like, baby, you want a she shed and you're going to be making money? Get out there. And
she shed it is.
Right? My mom does quilts. And if she ever finishes one, I think it'd be worth a lot of money. But it's like she does the topper and then my cousin does the rest, the thatching or whatever you call it, the batting.
The batting and the backing.
Yeah, and
all
I
that,
don't
yeah.
know thatching. I don't shows how much I know,
Thatcher.
right?
What are you making, a roof?
I know, right? I mean, she's a thatcher. No,
Okay.
she's not. She's a seamstress. And so, my mom does that. And I've told her I was going to go steal some of the toppers and pay some of these quilters to finish them. And she was like, if you steal one of my toppers and have somebody do that, I'll kill you. I'll disown you. You're not in the wheel
Cut you
anymore.
out of the wheel.
Right.
Although I don't know. Sometimes it's like, oh, please disown me.
Right. Every now and then you get that way.
Like,
right?
oh, wait, we got the family reunion coming up. Yeah, disown me. I've been
My
bad.
mom says she's going to disown me one time, and my older brother told her, if you disown him, then he has no reason to help me whenever y'all die. I've got to deal with all your, you got to liquidate. You just went through it with your dad. I mean, you lost your stepdad who pretty much raised you from how old?
Oh, it's 16.
Oh, you were 16
Yeah,
whenever,
yeah.
but he
was my dad. Yeah, I
he was
mean,
still,
I was very,
yeah.
very blessed to have two men in
You
my
have-
life.
You have a good dad, and you
Yep.
had him,
Exactly.
and he's a good guy, and you just lost him, and y'all are having to go through all that stuff. And that's why we're going to get someone legal on here. I've already talked to a couple of lawyers that are going to come on and talk. I've got one that's criminal and one that's family. And
Those
we're
are going to
gonna
be
talk-
really interesting shows.
You have to plan for your
Yes,
death.
You do.
It's so morbid and so awful. And I just turned 50 and I got my AARP card.
Wondered about that.
They knew the day I
Oh,
turned
yeah.
50. Like they were
Mhm. They've been waiting.
they were better than my parents at telling me happy birthday. My mom calls me every morning of my birthday, and AARP got me before she did and was like, hello, you're old. Here's your card.
You now get 10% off at Denny's.
Right? I'm going to flash that card
I was
everywhere
going to
'cause
say, hey, we need to get the places where you're eligible for discounts now
Right.
and start going and get some free food.
my cheap old man butt will be
Yeah.
showing that.
Yep.
When I can't wait till I have grandkids so I can have that random argument with them.
Oh, Lord, help
Who
us.
gets the big piece of chicken? I was in the war, not you. Who was in the war, me or you? I get the chicken. Just random stuff, and the kids roll their eyes. Pawpaw's at it again. He's off his meds.
Pawpaw's off his meds again.
He's wearing a MAGA hat. We're sending him off to the home. I think that's awesome. That like the kids think you're crazy, and then every now and then you wink at them and they go, "Wait a minute, that old man's got it together."
And
He
then
ain't."
you grow up and you realize, oh my God, they weren't crazy.
Oh,
It really is
absolutely.
that bad. Or you become them and they weren't crazy because I act just like them.
Right. I know that one time I told a joke to a bunch of kids. It was in the infancy of webcams. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like Zoom wasn't invented. This was in the early 2000s.
Ooh, with
whenever I was
Messenger.
on
So like you could be
Yeah.
talking and your lips are like 3 sentences behind you.
And they messaged me from a Girl Scout meeting. My daughters did
Oh,
with Leela, my first wife, and sorry to name drop, but so she was online, and all these moms were behind her, and I said something, and I really did not mean for it to sound inappropriate, but the moms are dying laughing, and I was like, "No, I'm serious. They're really." The kids asked me, "Do you see camels?" And I said, "All the camels that I see are horrible because they're either doing the camel run, which those are wild feral camels that they run down the road from one corral to the other and then ship them off because camels are a sought after agriculture overseas. You know, I mean, it's the cow or whatever of overseas, and people eat them, people breed them, people race them, they do all kinds of stuff. And I said, I'm not a big fan of them because the tame ones that we go around, I hate their toes because they'll step on you with their camel toes. So I'm not a big fan of camels. I'm really not a big fan of their camel toe feet. And the moms are laughing because the inside joke. But I was dead serious because, like, I wasn't wearing my steel-toed boots whenever they said we could go ride the camel, and it stepped on my foot.
Ow.
And the guy got it off of me real quick, but they're, I mean, they're mean because people are mean to them, and those guys
Right.
are pulling and tugging on them. And I was like, this is kind of like cruelty. So I mean, I rode horses and stuff, and we take care of a horse.
Right.
You brush a horse down, this camel smelled like it was dying,
That's
and I'm like,
awful.
so I got away from it and was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
And I didn't want to
prefer
do it,
that.
but I'd said that joke, and the moms were just like, he's like, and like, so these kids are like 27 now. My daughter's 27 now.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
I hope they don't remember that joke and think I was
Oh,
talking
they're gonna
about
pull out the video and
something dirty, from way back when. But yeah, that was the infancy of web. I mean, we went to a internet cafe. I mean, you think about the stuff payphones. If you put a kid at a payphone and say, call your mom, they would not know what to do. They would just
they're
stand
like,
there.
call collect. What?
Right. How
Yeah,
do you?
you have a call from the movie's over. Pick me up.
Right. You have a phone call from, this is Chuck. We had a baby. It's a boy.
Yeah, we ought a baby. It's a boy.
I remember that commercial, and they had those cards that were like the 10, 10, 220.
Oh, yes.
You just dial 10, 10, 220, and then a series of 15 digits.
Yeah.
Then you dial the number you're trying to call, and then you dial your home number, then you dial your mother's phone number, and then you get through on your long distance call.
3 months later, you think you're saving a lot of money until 3 months later,
The
you
bill
get an
comes,
aggregate bill where they've built them all together.
Right.
And yeah, you haven't saved a
Right.
dime.
Right. And you get a cell phone and everything's right
And
there in the
everything.
palm
I
of your
mean, boy,
hand.
we have come. I mean, man, if I could be a kid today, I tell you what. I mean, we've got a whole CD store in our phone. I just said
remember
CD store, so there's that.
taking my dad taking us on a trip, and we had our over the cab camper, little 6-pack, is what it was called. It slept 6 people in it. We had that over the cab camper and driving for like 4 hours somewhere. And it was just the longest trip ever. And our form of entertainment was to annoy each other in the back seat.
Fun.
The boys just driving. And I remember thinking to myself, if they ever made a car that I could watch TV in while we went down the road.
Well, look
And,
at
like,
here.
when I was 21 years old, like coming home from the service, my dad had a custom van that had a VHS in it.
Oh my gosh.
And we could watch something going down the road with a little TV in it. And that was
Cool.
amazing. And then whenever my kids were little, we had the DVD player
players in the
that
car,
had
yep.
the 2 little consoles on either side. So you watch it. And now you could, you can watch any movie you want.
Oh, now you can't go to IHOP without
phone.
watching the 8 movies that the tables next to you are watching.
Right? You're sitting there trying to talk to somebody, and they're watching, Apocalypse Now
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something. You're having a conversation, and they're over there watching a full-length movie of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly. Could you turn that down?
Could you turn it down? I'm trying to eat my pancakes over here.
Yeah.
And there's someone screaming bloody murder and a chainsaw going in my background, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's amazing where the technology came to now versus where it was,
Where it was. Yep.
And in the end, we're all gonna starve to death because these kids don't know how to take care of a goat or a sheep or something like that, raise an animal.
Well, it's interesting. You say
Pigs
that.
are on the loose and they're getting taken in by Johnson County.
Exactly.
And I did. I mean, like I laughed because you wouldn't know what to do. There's that movie. Didn't you and your mom watch that movie? The end of the world.
Yes.
And he's just like, I don't know what to do without my phone.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm literally lost. I can give you all the cash in my wallet,
Exactly. I can do anything in the world,
but I don't
but
have.
I got
don't have
nothing
my
without
phone.
my phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm nothing without my phone.
Exactly.
You're like, they're all talking on the radio today too. Like the FBI director was talking about China hacking stuff
Mhm.
and going to shut things down. And I am like, dude, I'm going to get that diesel fired up and
No
I'm going
kidding.
to the willy wag. We're going-
Again, I mean, as a blind person, that really scares me because
You depend upon those
I
devices.
do. I depend on my device very much. And well, it has made the world so much more accessible with ebooks and everything, for the most part being online. A lot of things are a lot more accessible. The grid goes down. I'm in trouble.
Well,
because Braille is it's costly to produce, and it's large. Like the average Braille letter is the size of 29-point font. So like
No.
my Braille Bible takes up 5 feet of bookshelf
No,
space.
I saw the Book of Eli. It's a little bitty book.
Yeah, that's
it's like, in the beginning.
Because you can believe everything you see on TV.
Yeah, this is a little bitty book. No, it is. How many books is the
It's
Bible?
37 volumes.
37 volumes.
Yes.
So it's 37 actual
books.
Exactly. That are 2 inches, 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that our hymnal for my cousin Cindy, our hymnal for church, she had translated into Braille.
Transcribed, yeah.
Transcribed into Braille. And she opened it up there at the front and balanced it on the back of this pew, or they had like a little easel for her so she could sing the music with us. And it took her a little bit to get to the page because she's got to feel those digits, page 236, but they did it identical. The hymnal was written perfect for her. And I remember having to carry that thing, and it was heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a heavy book. That was like huge compared to, and I don't think it had all the songs. I think it was only like the key
it was probably
ones. It was like
abbreviated versions.
Yeah, it wasn't all the key songs. It was just the key ones that people sang a lot type of thing. So, and if people see somebody who's blind with a cane and their phone in their hand and their earbuds in their ears and they're in the grocery store, stay out of their way. They pay for that service. You only get so much time. It's like FaceTime, right?
So the service that you're talking about, it's called IRA, and it was a startup company that was founded several years ago, and they're trying to get more public partnerships because it's quite expensive for the average person to afford. It's basically $1 a minute, and they've actually increased their rates. I'm on a grandfather plan because I've been with them so long. But and basically you can use your iPhone, or there's a couple of different platforms that you can be on, and they can look through the video feed of your phone and the audio and connect. Like, for example, today I used the service to pick up dog poo in my backyard because it was a beautiful day. My grass is short. I was like, I'm going to get this knocked out, and I don't want to spend forever like sweeping my cane around the yard looking for the piles. So I just kind of waving.
People don't realize how independent you are. I mean, you do stuff all the time like this. I mean, the grocery store, Walgreens.
I have no choice.
Yeah, you're like the earth doesn't stop.
I couldn't afford servants, so
right. I mean, that's why Helen.
Apparently, I'm not a princess.
Apparently, if you're born into a rich family, being with a disability of any kind doesn't bother you at all because you've got servants and 9 lords of leaping, jumping around.
Yeah, I'd like my lords of leaping, please.
Right. I know
because I'm using a video service to pick up dog crap.
I know that Nancy Reagan did say whenever Ronald Reagan got older and he was dealing with the Alzheimer's, it was easier for her because she had Secret Service around. She had these big burly Secret
I could
Service
see that,
agents.
yeah.
And she said, but I don't know how anyone else does this because she was so frail and so little.
Right.
Of a woman. And whenever he got sick, that was it. He got sick. And that was coming to the end. And she was able to do more because she had the Secret Service around.
Absolutely.
All right. So we are 2 minutes away
from the show being over.
The show goes by fast when you're having fun.
It does. Well,
I
hope people enjoyed listening to us.
Right. And don't forget, you've got the Spice Rack, you've got the brewery. There's always some live bands going on both of those.
Go see the Home Run Bakery Cookie Kids at Serendipity on
Home
Saturday.
Run Bakery Cookie Kids. Shout out to Kitty Privet over at MacGyver's. My favorite manager, my favorite bar, my home bar. That's where I always go if you want to come and get even with Mike Wilshire for something he said. That's the place to find me. I'll be sitting right between some burly gentlemen on either side of me. Hoots has always got good shows. We got to go into Hoots.
That'd be
you've
fun.
been in Spice Rack, and what was the other one we went to?
Lone Star.
Lone Star.
Yeah.
And those are nice. We had good times there.
Yep,
There's a new one opened up right next to Spice Rack. I forget, Lumberyard or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a new one. Yeah,
I
gotta go check them out too.
And what replaced Dalton's Corner?
Eagle's Nest.
I
haven't been in. I've heard it's pretty loud, but I have not personally been in there, so
Dalton's
I can't.
Corner was really loud because it's all brick. It's like this
Okay.
old brick building. You go in there and the sound's bouncing everywhere. And that's not even on the side where they're playing music. The side they're playing music's open. So the sound travels out.
Okay.
Inside the bar part, there's this brick wall. And it's just, the whole inside of the building's brick. Looks like an old bank from the 1800s.
Might be.
I don't know what it was. If you know what it was, write us a direct message and tell us what it used to be. I know that MacGyver's was Ferocious Ambush, was the bar it was called before. And then before that, it was like a place that sold oil drums or like a feed store or something.
Oh, wow.
So the building, when you look at it, it has a garage on it, and that's where I think the stock got unloaded and loaded from there. You know, the boys would load up the back of people's trucks and stuff whenever there was the oil drums and all that stuff.
Surprisingly, I have not yet graced MacGyver's doors.
You can't go in there. It's too rough for you. You're too mean. I don't know
Well,
if
there is that. Y'all
perk
said
up.
they couldn't handle me at MacGyver's.
Hey,
Y'all
this
have a
is-
good night.
This is Mike Wilshire, and this is Shelly Renfro, and we're signing off. See ya, JoCo.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County. JoCo Community Radio.
Let's be honest.